Well, Will's on vacation. So, Billy, what do we call this podcast?
We can call it the CHRILLCAST.
This is the CHRILLCAST. No, I can't do that. I'm Chris.
And I'm Billy.
Welcome to the CHRILLCAST.
The CHRILLCAST. I'm Billy from VISNAWesome, by the way. On my channel, we are actually doing a 24-hour live stream that's going to Beaumont Children's Hospital. If you've seen me try to pronounce that 10 million times, I, for some reason, can't. But then it's actually hosted by extralife.org. But I'm running it off Twitch TV, where my channel is VISNAWesome on there. We're doing that September 28th to the 29th. It's going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys tune in, any of the donations go straight towards Beaumont Children's Hospital. But we're going to be playing it. We're going to be giving stuff away. We're going to be giving off some games, some codes for Borderlands 3, a couple of cool things that are coming out there, some physical stuff, and we're going to be doing challenges because it would be boring if we didn't. But if you guys tune in, that would be awesome. And if anybody, again, it's all going towards charity. It's something I believe in. Even though I'm terribly nervous about talking about charities for some reason, I just feel like I can't give them the information that they give. But yeah, September 28th to the 29th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Check it out.
This is Tuber Tuesday, brought to you by Billy and Chris. The YouTuber we're going to cover today is the gaming historian. How much do you know about the gaming historian, Billy?
I know a little. I've seen some of his videos, but I haven't, off topic, I haven't seen, a lot.
So this guy's got somewhere around 650,000 subscribers on YouTube. Pretty prominent documentary-style YouTuber as far as, covers random subjects from the history of video games and puts it out there like a documentary about video games. He's got, tons and tons of videos. Just for example, some of his top 5 videos would include a story of Tetris, got 1.6 million views, an hour-long documentary about how Tetris was made, all the publishing rights, how it got out of what would have been the Soviet Union at the time. It was a very interesting hour-long video on the story of Tetris. I recommend watching it if you have an hour to kill. If you don't, then just watch the highlights. He's also got a video about the Sega Dreamcast, which very prominent right now because it would be 20 years, 7 days ago since the Dreamcast was launched, 99.
Oh God, yeah, it's been a minute.
And then he did the Nintendo Power Glove. It's got 1.5 million views. Power Glove, play with power. And then he did the entire story of how Super Mario Bros. 2 came about. Not the Japanese one, which was released here as the Lost Levels, but the original Super Mario Bros. 2 that debuted here in what would have been the 80s. I don't remember exactly the year, but that weird pick up the mushroom and throw it and the weird dragons. Yeah. Anyways, so he did a whole detailed account of how that happened, and then he also covered the Virtual Boy. He got 1 million views on that video as well. So he's just got a diversified range of videos, and I learned a lot about video game history, especially his video on Polybius. But yeah, gaming historian is. What have you seen?
I've seen. God, it's been a minute. Because it's been. I remember I watched it because I used to watch Did You Know Gaming a lot, and that ended up going his stuff.
I'll pull up some names so you can kind of read through it to you. Let's see. He doesn't post often, but when he does, it always gets a lot of views.
I remember.
He just did one on when a 9-year-old sued Nintendo.
That's actually kind of funny, though.
And then the subject of that video was essentially a 9-year-old got this baseball game that was supposedly had roster management, and it was advertised as having roster management, and Nintendo allowed that to be published on their platform, which would have been the NES. And the kid plugged it in, and it was just generic numbers, and the teams had no roster management whatsoever. You couldn't swap players from one team to the other, right? So it advertised the feature it didn't have. The kid took it to court, and the court basically said, it's just video games. They said, no, Nintendo wins. What?
Nowadays, man, that would be, oh my God.
Oh, totally.
Nightmare.
Oh, he just did one on the story of Zelda Link's Awakening, because they're re-releasing that.
I am actually really happy that they did that, because Link's Awakening was one of the ones I played, like, I actually played a lot of, and I actually got my hands on the new one. Like, I got to play for, it was about 2 weeks ago, but I got to play for about 20 minutes. It was a really good demo, man. They did really well, and the score on that is fantastic.
Oh, I have the original. I don't have the deluxe with the color and everything. I just have the original version, but I do like that one. He also covered, can you see this? The hot stick and the hot seat.
I'm trying to see.
Essentially, it had mercury switches in it. Okay, so when you would, I don't know if you know much about mercury switches, but essentially when you turn a mercury switch, or like you cause the level to change in it, the way it works is the mercury physically moves in there and completes the circuit. So when you turn it this way, it completes the circuit to go left. When you do this, it completes the circuit to go right. It's actually quite accurate versus like standard switches back when. Yeah. And so a lot of companies wanted to use it, but mercury obviously is kind of a no-no nowadays.
Yeah.
So to get your hands on one of these, you have to be very careful. Anyway, so he tested it out, and like the seat, while it works, it's not very convenient to control a game with a seat. And then the hot stick, right? You know, it works, but you know, there's a delay because you got to wait for the mercury to move. You know, that split second, so you feel a little spongy when you move. But yeah, he covered that one. It was pretty neat. He also covered the 32X. Just a ton of videos. Every time he posts a video, I'm like, okay, how long is it, and how long do I have to sit to watch it?
Oh God, I love that kind of stuff, man. I really enjoy like really well done documentaries about gaming.
He did a 50-minute video on Punch-Out.
Really?
Yep. He did a half hour on Spyro the Dragon.
That's what I know. I've seen Spyro the Dragon from him, because I know my fiance is the biggest Spyro the Dragon fan in the entire world.
Oh, is she? You got the new trilogy then, or the new?
No, I literally just re-picked it up again today. It's really funny you say that. Like, not even kidding.
He also did a video on Steve Jobs at Atari.
Really?
Yeah, he did a video on the Konami code, the Game Boy player, Super Mario RPG.
That, man, it's really like sad about Super Mario RPG. It's really bummy that they don't have an opportunity to really go at that again.
But yeah, he's covered so many subjects. I mean, I highly recommend anybody who hasn't seen The Gaming Historian, go watch The Gaming Historian. He's just one of the best.
I want to check more of his now. Like, I feel bad because like I want to check more of his stuff out now, because I love that kind of stuff, man. Like, I'm really into the history of how games are, like, even controversies. Like, I've watched a lot of people that have like delved into that stuff, and I love it.
And this guy has been on YouTube since July 17th, 2006.
Oh God.
That's a long time.
It really is, man.
I kind of wonder what he does on his, like, as a day job, or if he even has a day job, or if he just spends all his time doing the historian stuff. I mean, I don't know.
That is so cool, though, man. I really enjoy that.
So, yeah, he's got, for the amount of content he's put out and for the amount of views he gets, having only 650,000 subscribers seems a little low, doesn't it?
Nowadays, yeah. I mean, like, back in like original, like in his days of like 2006 and stuff like that. I mean, Smosh like was like the first to hit like 1 million, and that was like mind blowing. But that was like, I think 2009 or 10, like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million was starting to be like a big number. So yeah, that does seems a little low for being. But I mean, to be fair, probably a really loyal fan base compared to like a lot of them nowadays.
Well, when you only have 650,000 subscribers and yet you get 1.5 million views per video, you know, you've got either a fan base that watches your videos twice, or you've got people that say, dude, you gotta watch this video.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's The Gaming Historian, and yeah, go check him out if you haven't. It's been fun. I'm Chris.
And I'm Billy.
And we will see you
on the next CHRILLCAST.
Oh!